Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And this is Questions, Coffee, and Cars 196. 200's coming soon. We have no plans yet for the big 200.
Know what to
I think
do.
there's a lot of pressure to do something for but we don't have any plans. I think we'll just do 200, and that's it. What do you think?
200, yeah. Well, we were thinking like a twist on the questions. Ask us anything.
Ask us anything. I think we'll do that one.
That's always
Doesn't mean we're
going to
answer everything,
no,
but you can ask us anything.
No.
How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday, I put a post out on Instagram asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Been seeing some teasers related to Toyota GR products. Celica MR2 look pretty fun for only showing one or two car panels. And info for them, powertrain, transmission possibilities.
Who knows? Listen.
Who knows is right.
Who knows?
Toyota doesn't tell us anything about future products.
Any brand doesn't tell you anything.
No.
I mean, you're just going to, and that's the whole thing that drives me crazy about the internet, is all this speculation. They speculate this and they speculate that. Nobody has any intel, really. No. I believe that the Japan Mobility Show in Tokyo this October is going to be a big one. Mm-hmm. I think they're holding back a lot of stuff for that, and maybe also for the LA Auto Show.
Maybe so. If you look online, there's tons of rumors, but nothing is official and nothing has been confirmed from Toyota, so we wait on that one. I want to buy a used luxury SUV, and I'm trying to decide between a Volvo XC60 mild hybrid, top trim, and a Mercedes GLE 350. I'll probably aim for around a 2020-2022 model. My priorities are comfort, interior look, and safety. I've driven a Prius for 12 years, and I'm ready for something more indulgent.
XC60 or GLE from Mercedes-Benz. Andrea, we haven't done this in a while. We got to do a 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Mercedes.
GLE. Yeah. It's bigger, and it's a really nice one.
The other thing is that it's still kind of the current model, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like peak Mercedes interior. The interior of that is beautiful. And the 350, I'm trying to remember, they switched from the V6 to the inline 6. I think that one has the inline 6. It's really good. So yeah. Knock yourself out. I think the Mercedes-Benz quality scores, even though they're not as high as like a Lexus or something, are higher than Volvo. And
also the infotainment system is very good with Mercedes-Benz. They've got the trackpad, but actually it's a good one. Mm-hmm. So I really like the GLE, and you're talking about safety, comfort, and interior. Volvo does a wonderful job with all of those as well.
So does Mercedes.
But Mercedes-Benz does, and I just prefer the GLE. Any word on when the 2026 Telluride will be released?
It's funny, we were just talking about that off camera.
I know. So
we're being invited to an event sometime in the fall. Can't tell you where or with whom or whatever. Well, it's with Kia, obviously. But we're speculating maybe that's it.
Well, I'm wondering. It's time for Telluride. Apparently, there are some spy shots out there of the 2026 Telluride, but nothing official from Kia. And we've asked them, when's Telluride coming? They haven't said anything, but Palisade is out now. So it's only a matter of time. So I'm thinking maybe the fall.
By the way, next week, you will have our full first drive of Palisade.
Yeah.
So yes, I think Telluride's not far behind.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the embargo lifts on the Palisade for driving impressions August 5th.
So I always tease the PR rep, Susan from Kia. I always joke when she says, oh, I'd like to invite you to an event, but she doesn't tell us what the car is. I go, oh, is it the Kia Rio?
It's a joke.
Is it the Kia Rio?
It's the Kia Rio.
One day she'll say, no. Well, she'll say, yes. Here's the Kia Rio.
No.
I don't even know if this is a Rio even sold. Must be sold in other markets.
I don't
still.
know. I can't even remember.
Your mom had a Kia Rio.
She did.
Yeah.
She actually liked it. It was just small. That's all. I have a 2024 Subaru Crosstrek, which I love. Mm-hmm. However, I find the auto shut-off feature to be very unsettling. My passengers notice it also. Can you recommend some makes and models with smooth auto shut-off technology? You know, you can shut it off, but I know when you restart the car, it comes back on again, but there's a button
I'm trying to remember, does the Crosstrek have that? So yes,
I
it
don't
should
know.
have
Maybe I think it does. I can't remember.
Do you know when you do like it's Zach at Motormouth for your email, the at it looks like the A with a it looks like the at from an email account, and that the A on the thing is the auto start stop, and it should have a line through it. I'm trying to remember exactly. This car
If
doesn't
the
have it.
Crosstrek doesn't have it, then yes, I get it. That's an issue. Most vehicles today have that capability of being able to shut it off, which is a great feature. But a lot of people will say, yeah, but every time I start the vehicle back up, I forget and it's back on again. But
Well, it
it's
doesn't
so
do it
easy
right
to
away
shut it off.
anyway because the
No.
car's got to warm up. It will only do it when the car's warmed up. And you might actually like it because you think you're saving some fuel, which is a little bit, but you're wanting one that's smoother. I think it's one of those you got to just try it, like see what your budget is, what kind of car you like, and then try it.
Yeah. The Subaru people do. I hear this. They complain about it. You're not the only one, and it's not just Crosstrek. Some people say Outback and Forester.
It might be because
that
it's a
little bit
horizontally opposed
jerky.
engine.
It could be
because of the design of the engine.
I think the RAV4 is pretty good with auto start stop. I think you're right. Like for us to remember, it would have to be a vehicle that we got into that we absolutely didn't like. And I'll tell you, one of them, the BMW X2.
An X1.
That was very jerky. The X2, though, you can't shut it off. And the only way that it disables is if you put it in sport mode, which defeats your fuel economy numbers, and you have to use premium fuel. So I think that was a miss by BMW on that model.
Well, you know how you get around it, Andrea. You put it in S for...
Subscribe.
There you go. Hey, the other thing is, if you're thinking about making a change in vehicle to something else, and you're obviously concerned about fuel economy, a hybrid will get around all of that because the electrification of the powertrain is what's really getting you going, and then the gasoline engine starts up without you even realize it's doing it. So if you like your Crosstrek, fantastic vehicle, there will be a hybrid coming later this fall, and you could move from Crosstrek to Crosstrek, and it will be smoother because you've got that electrification. So a hybrid eliminates a lot of that.
And we drove the Forester hybrid with the same powertrain that the Crosstrek hybrid is getting, that combined 194 horsepower. And we all know the Forester is a larger vehicle. So imagine that same powertrain in the Crosstrek hybrid with that combined power number. My feeling is that it's going to make a big, big difference for Crosstrek. Another thing about Crosstrek, I'm just going to add, the U.S. for next year is eliminating the base engine. We did ask Subaru Canada about it, but they weren't able to confirm if Canada is going in that direction. So we wait and see. If that base engine is eliminated, you can expect the price of Crosstrek to go up.
One thing that's different though between Canada and the United States is our Crosstreks are brought in from Japan, which is actually perfect timing because there's no duty or tariffs. No, I shouldn't say duty. Tariffs imposed on the car. So the Canadian ones have always been sourced from Japan, and then you have the U.S. made ones, and they're shifting obviously towards the hybrid production. But I think Canada is going to continue with that. They basically said they're going to. Andrea, you know what?
I just want to add to that, Zach, except for the Crosstrek Wilderness, they're all made in the U.S.
We don't ask you guys for anything. Like, we're not asking for money. We're not begging. We're just begging for subscribers. I don't know. It's one of those things that it's just a weird little YouTube thing that subscribers, not so much to us, but people outside, the first thing they say, how many subscribers have you got? And we're like, well, you know, some YouTube channels have got 1 million subs. We don't.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to get to 500,000. So if you could, it's free, doesn't cost you anything.
And I also
subscribe.
I also think that because Google feeds us things that we watch, we don't feel like we need to subscribe. I haven't done a very good job with the channels that I watch with subscribing. So I'm making a conscious effort now to subscribe to support the channel, especially if you are enjoying the content. My sister-in-law got an Audi a while ago that came from Canada, and we're in the US. She couldn't get her phone to work with the infotainment system, and in the end, because the car was from Canada, she couldn't get the electronics to work in the US. Can you explain the reasoning for this car not working in the US?
Oh, should.
Wow, this is very interesting.
What did you find out?
Whoa.
It should be the same. The only thing that really would be a big difference would be the speedometer would be in kilometers versus miles, and you can digitally change that. But why would the infotainment system? We use the same cell systems.
I know. So this is what everyone is saying online on a Facebook forum. According to these forums, Canadian market Audis use a different version of the Audi MMI and app services Audi Connect. And some features are geo-restricted or tied to the vehicle's original market. Audi Canada and Audi US operate separately, and some people have had luck using third-party retrofitters, but it hasn't always worked out
Never
for them.
heard that. That's the first I've ever heard of that.
I thought that was a really good question, by the way. And then when I was looking this up, there are also issues with Kia vehicles that have come from Canada to the US, but it has to do with the app. So some people say just don't use the app and just update other things within the vehicle.
So interestingly, a lot of Americans wouldn't know this. Up until Donald started doing his stuff with tariffs, about 200,000 plus Canadian cars a year would cross the border into the United States. And here's the reason why. You have a stronger American dollar. Dealer groups would go on to the auction houses in Canada. And usually at auction houses, a lot of the cars that are coming off lease are 3 and 4 years old. So these are still fairly new and desirable cars. And so what they do with King Dollar, the American dollar, they're buying these cars out of a Canadian auction and then shipping them to the United States. And with that difference in the dollar, they're able to make a bigger profit. So you might be buying a car and you wouldn't know it was ever registered in Canada, but it could be, which is why when you buy a car, you need to get the history of it, like with Carfax, look it up, see where the car has been registered. But this is the first I've ever heard of geofencing the Navi system.
Yeah, and interesting that you say that. When I was on this Facebook forum, some people say, I didn't even know I had a Canadian car. And they said, well, why didn't you look into it? And he goes, you have no idea how much research I did on the vehicle, but for whatever reason, that wasn't disclosed at the time. And then he had issues with the infotainment, even connecting his phone, and had issues with the VIN number and that it was connected to the Canadian original owner. And he didn't even know that he had a Canadian car. And then somebody chimed in, didn't you look at the odometer? Wasn't it in kilometers?
But the dealers will change it, right?
Yeah.
They'll change it and put it in miles. The real tell is you go into the trunk, and underneath where the spare tire is, there's usually a bottle of gravy for poutine.
Or maple syrup.
Or maple syrup. And every Canadian car comes from the dealer with either a bottle of gravy for poutine or maple syrup. And you have to leave it in the car. If you get pulled over by the Mounties and they check and you don't have one of those, it's a big ticket. So every car in Canada has poutine or maple syrup. Smoked salmon, yeah.
Gets stinky, so I don't recommend the smoked salmon.
Yeah, the maple syrup holds the best. It really does.
Yeah.
And why do we do that in Canada? Because it gets cold here, and if you're stuck in a snowstorm and there's nothing to eat, at least you've got gravy and maple syrup in the trunk. Could be frozen.
I was going to say, though, maple syrup, though, in Quebec.
Oh, the best.
Oh, my gosh, and it's frozen.
There
is yummy.
There is a documentary. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It's basically like I think it was called Maple Syrup Mafia, something like that.
I think I remember seeing that.
It's all about how the maple syrup world is controlled. Do you know, if you're in the US, you have the Strategic Oil Reserve, right? Where they have millions and millions of barrels of oil and fuel stored for strategic purposes, for, say, like a war. And in Canada, the part about the trunk, I'm not sure if you know this, I just made that up. But
I think they got it.
You think they did?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think so.
But this is real. There is a maple syrup strategic reserve in Quebec.
I know.
And there was a huge heist. Yep. This is true. Where they broke in the middle of the night and they stole huge amounts of maple syrup. Eh?
Our son Charlie, with bacon and eggs, he's just like, see him, how much maple syrup can you use? And then the other thing that's become super popular is pepperoni pizza with honey. So now I've got to buy honey straight time in the house.
Yeah,
It's
but
crazy.
there is nothing better than French toast, crispy bacon with Canadian maple syrup, Quebec maple syrup.
It's delicious. In June 2025, GM revealed a $4 billion investment to boost production of gas-powered trucks and SUVs at facilities in Michigan, Kansas, and Tennessee starting in 2027. What are your thoughts on this move?
Well, they're reading the room, right? They're investing in future development because they know, we know, a lot of you know, governments don't, that people still want to buy a Chevy Silverado with a V8. Look at Ram, for example. They got rid of the Hemi in the Ram products. Well, they came back with their tail between their legs and said, oh, by the way, the Hemi's back. Because people didn't want a six-cylinder. And I would suspect that a lot of this new technology is going to be hybridized.
Yeah, I could see that too. And, you know, electric vehicles, pickup trucks don't work for everyone, especially if they're towing. If they're towing and they have to stop and charge a vehicle, first off, they're going to lose a lot of range just because they are towing. And then they have to stop. And how are you getting your vehicle to the charging cable when you have a huge, let's say, trailer on the back? It is a challenge. Like, I've talked to the Fast Lane Trucks about this, and they've done countless episodes where they've towed vehicles with an EV pickup truck, and they're just like, it's just so much more complicated. Then you speak to people who live in the prairies in Canada, and they will say the same thing. Look, I just want a work truck. I want a gas-powered pickup truck. I don't want an electric vehicle. Of course, the F-150, you have a hybrid, which could be something that would work better for people.
Yeah, and look at, Toyota's now got Tacoma with a hybrid. Ford has a hybrid. There's going to be more of that. General Motors has not officially said what's coming, but they're going to have more options for hybrid and plug-in hybrid. And that's great. And I would suspect a big push on that engine development front will be to integrate that as well.
What's a great non-sport luxury sedan in 2025 that also looks great? There's one that jumps out for me, but I don't know if it's a non-sport. Like, are you talking it's like...
Well, just a real luxury car. A real luxury
car.
Like, so typically the bigger they are, the more plush they are because you've got a longer wheelbase. So
probably something like the Lexus ES.
Yeah, or, that's a good choice.
I mean, it's so comfortable. You know, it's tuned for comfort, refinement. There's a new ES coming that's an EV or a hybrid. I thought it looked pretty good, the interior. Some people didn't like it. They thought it was too much for an ES. And then you've got Mercedes-Benz. You could do S-Class.
That's like top of the mountain.
E-Class, though. Remember when we were in Vienna? The E-Class
I remember
was
Vienna,
beautiful.
Those summer nights in Vienna.
Oh, I know.
Andrea and I on the rooftop.
It was so good, Vienna.
So,
I want to go back.
Yeah, beautiful city, beautiful roads. And by the way, the E-Class is amazing. Yes, Mercedes-Benz, they lean onto the traditional luxury. The problem is, like, Buick is gone. They don't really have any sedans anymore. They were I think your ES is a good choice. It's not crazy expensive. It's a big car and has the long wheelbase, as I mentioned. I would say Toyota Avalon, but that's gone now. So yeah, I think Lexus ES.
Hi, I heard Ford Motor Company is going to be discontinuing the V6 in the Explorer. Is that true?
I don't know.
Keep up the great work and let me know when you'll be driving the Tremor trim. Well, Ford Authority, because they're the authority for Ford.
There's GM Authority too, yeah.
Yes, GM Authority. They're just speculating. I don't know if they hear something along the way, but Ford hasn't announced anything about eliminating the V6. I hope they don't do it. That ST model with a Turbo 4, I just don't think it would be the same.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, a lot of the other brands in the mid-size class are moving towards Turbo 4 cylinders for emissions reasons as well.
I know.
It might be a regulation thing, but that's all on the table now, or off the table, with Donald Trump making changes to EPA regulations. So it might actually be the V6 is back.
And Acura and Honda are sticking with the V6 for now. They just brought out a new Passport with a V6. So I think some will stick with it. I actually think if they do stick with it, V6s are going to be worth something one day.
Okay, Andrea. If I was a guy who wanted to get a question in for a future episode, how would I do that?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday I put a post out on Instagram asking for questions. And once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show. They come in quickly. I can only leave it up for about 40 minutes. I can't believe it.
If I want to get a question, then I just go up to Andrea and say,
I want to get a question, Andrea.
All right. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.